Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and man, I really appreciate you guys checking out today's video and spending some time with me today. Really appreciate that. And guys, today we're going to be talking about why jerkbait fishing is it's the technique that requires the most skill out of any lure category out there. There's not a more complicated lure, a more difficult lure to master. There's not a lure that takes more years and decades of experience to master than a jerkbait. And I'm going to tell you guys why it just simply takes more skill to be a good jerkbait fisherman than any other technique in bass fishing, and give you some tips and advice along the way that will help you out with that. Also guys, speaking of jerkbaits, I will include my megabass jerkbait link in my tackle warehouse description in this video. Megabass is without a doubt the finest built jerkbait in the world, bar none. There's not even any other company close to it. They set the bar for jerkbait fishing on every single company. Components, quality, detail, craftsmanship, second to none. Everybody's got them in their box. Every pro's got them in their box. So I'll put my link in the description if you guys would like to get set up with some of them there. Okay, here is why jerkbait fishing requires more skill than any other technique out there. It's because of the complexity and the different variables involved in it. First of all, you got two different type of topics here. You've got the actual lure itself to consider, you've got the retrieve, you've got the, like the equipment to throw it on, and you've got to know where to throw it at. So there's a wide range of things here. Now, one of the reasons a jerkbait is the most difficult lure to master is the fact that a jerkbait, there's so many different things to a jerkbait and different type of jerkbaits. You have a different jerkbait profile. Some jerkbaits are 7 inches long, some are 3 inches long, some have higher sides on them, some are thicker. So you have a lot of different profiles to choose from, and the bass, depending upon the time of year and their mood and personality, they prefer a different profile of jerkbait, and you have to know what that is and when to use which profile, which is for another video. Second with that is the color variations. A jerkbait is a sight bait. It's designed to be visually seen by the fish, so therefore a color on a jerkbait is more critical than any other lure out there. The color of a jerkbait is the #1 lure that color matters the most. That's why you see so many different variations in jerkbait colors. You have metallic finishes, you have translucent finishes, you have a flat finish, you have different variations in colors, and all of that plays a role depending upon like the light intensity, the water clarity, the wind, the time of year, the species that you're fishing. Everything revolves around that. You've got different back colors there, you've got different belly colors. Sometimes the belly color makes all the difference, sometimes the back color makes all the difference, sometimes little accent colors like on the tail here make all the difference. So you've literally got like hundreds of different color combinations to choose from, and sometimes if you don't pick the right color combination, you're not going to get hardly any bites on a jerkbait. And that gets into the other thing about knowing when to pick certain colors, knowing when to pick certain profiles, and that comes with years and years of experience. That's something that I teach here on the channel. I can teach you some basic foundational, starting points with that, but ultimately you have to listen to what the fish is going to tell you with that. So second to the profile and the color, then you have probably just as important, or maybe even more important, is the cadence and retrieve. Another reason a jerkbait requires more skill is a jerkbait's a lure that you don't catch any fish on just throwing it out there and reeling it in. It's not like a crankbait or a spinnerbait. You have to impart the action on a jerkbait yourself. You have to trigger the fish to hit this from your manipulation of this lure, making it come alive. So the cadence of a jerkbait, as far as how sharp you snap your wrist, or how little you twitch your wrist, or how you pull the bait, all that combined as far as the cadence and the retrieve and the rhythm of the jerkbait will determine whether or not a bass is going to bite it. And then you have things like the hesitations and pause. Sometimes the fish want a 1-second pause, sometimes they want a 10-second pause, sometimes they want a 20-second pause, along with the right type of twitch and pull and lure and wrist momentum on there. So a lot of times, if you don't have the right cadence, if you don't have the right wrist snap, if you don't wait the right amount of time, if you don't have the right profile, if you don't have the right color, you're not going to hardly catch anything. But once you get all those elements together, and that again comes from years of experience, why this requires more skill than anything else, it is absolutely deadly. Once you get all those factors together, the cadence, retrieve, the line size, the hooks, the color, everything with that. It just makes all the difference in the world. And then finally, you have where to throw a jerkbait at. It's like a lot of different type of areas to fish with a jerkbait. A jerkbait will catch suspended fish. It will pull fish off the bottom. It will pull fish off of targets to hit it. There's a wide range, there's a plethora of different options as far as the type of areas to catch fish on a jerkbait based upon seasonal patterns and movements of the fish and the mood and the personality. And that's why I always say that forward-facing sonar is it's sort of a kindergarten technique, because it doesn't require any knowledge. It's like, in order to fully understand and immerse yourself in jerkbait fishing on a pure level, you have to have a deep, intimate understanding of the personality and the mood of the bass and the seasonal patterns and how they relate to different structures at different times of year, how light intensities and water clarities, all that type of stuff affects the retrieve, the cadence, the color, everything that you go on with it. Another thing with that is the depth of the jerkbait. Some jerkbaits are designed to run just under the surface. Some are designed to run almost 20 foot deep, so you have to determine that. So as you can see, without going into more detail, the amount of variables involved in the jerkbait far exceed any other one out there. So if you are interested in becoming a good fisherman, the ultimate technique to learn is a jerkbait, because it requires more skill than anything else. It's not the low intelligence kindergarten level fishing of throwing a forward facing sonar minnow out there on the fish that you see at the screen and just reel it past it. That's kindergarten. That's first grade level that doesn't require any intelligence. This is the bait right here that requires the most intelligence from any fisherman out there to consistently catch fish on it. But once you do it, guys, it's the most rewarding technique there is. I think catching fish on jerkbait is probably the funnest way to catch bass that I know of. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about it. We'll talk later.